It started with a kiss under the spotlight, a whirlwind romance that fans couldn't get enough of. Jasmine, the woman who had everyone believing in fairy tales again, seemed to have found her Prince Charming. But what if behind that dazzling, smile and picture-perfect romance was a secret so scandalous, it could shatter everything? Tonight, we dive into a truth fans never saw coming. Was Jasmine truly in love? Or was it all just a glittering scheme for gold? The red carpets, the luxury trips, the diamond-studded gifts, Jasmine flaunted it all on social media. But recently, whispers started surfacing. Cryptic posts, leaked voice notes, a mysterious figure from her past claiming she's always had a plan. And when her lover's family suddenly pulled back from the public eye, rumors hit a fever pitch. Is Jasmine playing the long game? Or is she just a woman in love being judged for wanting a lavish life? One source close to the family revealed there were always two Jasmines, the sweet girl you see in public, and the one counting every dollar behind closed doors. Another insider even claimed Jasmine was overheard saying, "I didn't come all this way to end up broke." Fans are in disbelief, her followers are split down the middle, some defending her fiercely, while others are digging up old interviews, Instagram stories, and past relationships to find the real Jasmine. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get any messier, an explosive confrontation was caught on camera, and let's just say, it ended with more than just tears. Is Jasmine a victim of jealousy and scrutiny? Or is this a carefully calculated rise to riches disguised as romance? Stay tuned, because what we're about to uncover may just flip your entire perspective. Grab your popcorn, because this isn't just a love story, it's a tale of betrayal, ambition, and one woman's fight to have it all, no matter the cost. This is Love or Gold Digging. Jasmine's real motive revealed, and the truth begins now. Jasmine had always known how to light up a room, with her long cascading curls, diamond-studded heels, and a laugh that made even the coldest hearts pause. She was a walking fantasy, or at least that's what she wanted the world to believe. Her arrival into the life of wealthy music mogul Marcus Dellon had seemed like something out of a romance novel. She met him at an exclusive yacht party off the coast of Miami, the kind of event that requires an invitation printed on silk and a six-figure bank balance just to step aboard. But Jasmine didn't have millions, not yet. She had charm, ambition, and secrets. And when Marcus noticed her that night, twirling alone under the moonlight while sipping champagne she hadn't paid for, it was as though fate had handed her the opportunity of a lifetime. Within weeks, they were inseparable. Publicly, their love burned bright. Private jets, front-row fashion week seats, vacations in places most people couldn't pronounce. Jasmine's Instagram turned into a visual fairy tale. Captions like "Love Like This" and "My King Forever" littered her feed, always accompanied by glimpses of his expensive gifts, from Cartier bracelets to a Porsche wrapped in gold. Fans were obsessed. They shipped the couple hard, calling them #Jasmar and praying for wedding bells. But not everyone was convinced. Especially not Marcus's sister Tasha. Tasha Dillon had always been fiercely protective of her brother. As the CFO of his record label empire, she'd seen it all: gold diggers, groupies, manipulative exes. But Jasmine was different. She didn't act like the others. She was smooth, polished, calculated, and that made her even more dangerous. "She doesn't love him," Tasha whispered to her best friend during a spa day that Jasmine suspiciously bailed on last minute. "She loves the lifestyle." Tasha began noticing things like how Jasmine always brought up prenup clauses in passing, or how she casually asked about life insurance policies during dinner. Then there was the late-night phone call Jasmine received during a family trip to Turks and Caicos. Marcus had been asleep, but Tasha wasn't. From the room next door, she heard Jasmine whispering, "I'm working on it. Just trust me. I'm almost there." Almost where? And who was she talking to? The tension between the women began to build. Jasmine would flash her dazzling smile at family brunches, but her eyes didn't flinch when Tasha threw subtle jabs. Marcus remained oblivious, too intoxicated by love or lust to see the growing storm. But the cracks were forming, and fast. It all came to a head the night of the Dillon Foundation Gala, where Marcus was being honored for his charitable work. Jasmine arrived in a silver gown that shimmered with every step, her arm linked with Marcus's. Cameras flashed. Applause rang out. But Tasha wasn't clapping. She had spent the past 2 weeks digging, and what she found wasn't just shocking, it was infuriating. Jasmine had changed her name 3 years prior. Had 2 sealed court cases from her hometown in Nevada. And worst of all, had been previously engaged to an 81-year-old oil tycoon, who mysteriously died just 6 months after the engagement ended, and now, Jasmine was smiling in front of reporters, calling Marcus the love of her life. Tasha had had enough. Backstage, away from the flashing lights, the confrontation happened. "You're not fooling me," Tasha spat, blocking Jasmine just before she rejoined Marcus. Jasmine didn't flinch. "Excuse me?" she said coolly, lifting a perfectly arched brow. "You heard me," Tasha hissed. "I know who you really are. I know about Henry Whitmore. I know about the name change. And I know you don't love my brother." For a split second, Jasmine's composure cracked. Her lips tightened, her eyes narrowed. But she quickly recovered. "You've been digging through my past." "That's pathetic," she said, voice low and irrelevant. "Marcus loves me. That's what matters." "Does he know you were engaged to a dying billionaire for his will?" Tasha challenged. Jasmine leaned in, smile sharp as a blade. "He knows what I want him to know. The rest, that's none of your business." But that moment, overheard by a passing assistant who just happened to record part of it, would become the spark that lit a firestorm. Within 48 hours, the audio clip had leaked. It went viral. Blogs exploded. Twitter turned savage. "Jasmine, the Black Widow," one headline screamed. Another, "From oil tycoon to music empire, Jasmine's gold-digging trail exposed." Fans were divided. Some defended her, saying she was being targeted for having ambition. Others called for Marcus to dump her immediately. Paparazzi swarmed their gated home. Meanwhile, Marcus was silent. Inside their mansion, things were anything but quiet. Jasmine slammed the front door, tears streaming down her face. "You promised to protect me," she shouted at Marcus, who stood by the staircase, holding his phone. "What is this?" he asked, voice trembling, playing the clip. "Is this real? Is any of this real?" Jasmine walked closer, placing her hand on his chest. "Marcus, baby, listen to me. People are jealous. They'll say anything to destroy what we have." "Did you marry Henry Whitmore?" he asked, eyes searching hers. "No," she said immediately. "We were engaged, but he passed away before we—" "Before what?" he interrupted. "Before he could change his will." Silence. Jasmine's hand dropped. Her face crumbled for a moment before hardening. "You don't know what I've been through," she said. "You don't know how hard I fought to survive. I've done things, yes, things I'm not proud of. But I love you, Marcus. That's real. Is it?" he whispered, stepping back. The next morning, Jasmine was gone. No note, no text, just vanished. But she didn't go far. She was spotted in New York 3 days later, stepping out of a black SUV with none other than her ex, the son of Henry Whitmore, Dylan Whitmore. TMZ was all over it. "Jasmine back with billionaire heir." The headline read. But the truth wasn't what it seemed, because Jasmine wasn't back with Dylan. She was confronting him. "Why did you leak it?" she demanded in the cafe's security footage later obtained by reporters. "You promised me you were done with this." Dylan smirked. "You're in too deep, Jazz. You should have stayed out of the game." "You're ruining my life," she snapped. "You ruined mine first," he replied coldly. That was the moment Jasmine realized she had been played. Someone wanted her out of Marcus's life. And they were using Dylan to do it. But why? And more importantly, how much worse was it going to get? The scandal wasn't cooling down. It was only beginning. Jasmine returned to LA quietly, staying at a friend's penthouse while the media frenzy raged on. Her team advised her to lay low. "Don't post, don't speak, just wait," her manager told her. But Jasmine wasn't one to wait. She was planning her next move, a sit-down, a tell-all, on her terms. Because if the world was going to call her a villain, she'd make damn sure she got to speak first. And while she was writing her side of the story, another twist was brewing, one that would shake both families to the core, with Jasmine plotting her tell-all, unaware that a much deeper betrayal was about to rise to the surface. One that had been quietly brewing behind velvet curtains and locked boardroom doors. While Jasmine typed out her truth in the penthouse, suite with a skyline view and a glass of wine in hand, Tasha was preparing her own strike. But this time, she wasn't alone. Marcus's mother, Evelyn DeLon, who had previously remained silent and neutral during the unfolding chaos, had finally decided to step into the spotlight. Known in the industry for her icy elegance and cutthroat business sense, Evelyn had watched Jasmine from day one with a raised brow. She hadn't voiced her suspicions publicly, but now, with the media storm surrounding her son growing uglier by the day, she summoned Tasha and the family's attorney for a private meeting at the Dillon estate. "We're not just dealing with a gold digger," she said, swirling her tea calmly. "We're dealing with a threat to our legacy, and I won't have that." At the center of this new chapter was a family trust worth over $200 million. A trust Marcus would fully control once married. Evelyn, cautious but strategic, feared Jasmine's claws were not only sunk into her son's heart but also aimed directly at the family's generational fortune. If she's after love, she can prove it. If she's after money, she'll run when it's gone, Evelyn said with a chilling smile. That same day, she had her legal team draw up a revised prenup, a binding document that would deny Jasmine any access to the trust, even in the event of marriage or children. And just like that, Evelyn was ready to drop a bomb. Meanwhile, Jasmine was already preparing for her televised sit-down scheduled for a primetime slot on a major network. Dressed in soft pastels, tears brimming just enough in her eyes, she sat opposite the host and told her version of events. "I was never after his money," she said softly. "I was after love, security, and respect, the things every woman deserves. I made mistakes in my past, but who hasn't?" The interview went viral within hours. Fans started rallying behind her again. #Justice for Jasmine trended on X, but just as the public tide began turning in her favor, Evelyn struck a formal dinner held in honor of the Dillon patriarch's birthday, one Jasmine was mysteriously invited back to attend. Evelyn dropped the prenup on the mahogany table like a loaded weapon. "If your love is real, Jasmine," she said, folding her manicured hands, "you'll sign this without question." The room went still. Forks froze mid-air. Marcus stared at his mother, stunned. Jasmine picked up the document, skimmed the first page, and set it down with a smirk. "So this is what love looks like in your world," she said, locking eyes with Evelyn. "Contracts, clauses. This is what trust looks like when there's money involved," Evelyn replied coolly. "And if you're not hiding anything, you have nothing to fear." Jasmine stood up, smile never leaving her lips. "I'll have my lawyer review it," she said. "But don't mistake grace for weakness, Evelyn. I'm not some naive little girl you can bully." And with that, she left her heels clicking. Through the tension like gunshots, the headlines exploded again. Jasmine refuses prenup, family in crisis. Paparazzi chased her town car across Beverly Hills. Speculation grew louder. Was she stalling? Was she planning to walk? Or was this all part of a long con to corner the Dillon fortune through emotional manipulation? Marcus remained torn. His heart said Jasmine loved him. His family said she loved his bank account. But the woman in question? She wasn't slowing down. In fact, Jasmine had just hired a new PR team, and they had a plan. Enter Leo Hartford, crisis manager, to the stars. He had cleaned up scandals for politicians, Alistairs, and even a royal divorce. His strategy: we don't deny, we redirect. He immediately scheduled a Vogue cover shoot. Jasmine appeared in a silk robe, minimal makeup, eyes soft with innocence. The headline: villain or victim. Jasmine speaks. Inside, she shared pages of childhood stories, poverty, heartbreak, abandonment. "I never had a father," she confessed. "Every man I loved left or lied. So when I met Marcus, I thought maybe, just maybe, I'd finally found peace." The nation ate it up. For every critic, 3 fans defended her. But Evelyn wasn't backing down. She hired a private investigator. Within days, he uncovered something darker than anyone expected: a secret bank account, opened under Jasmine's birth name, receiving monthly wire transfers from a shell company tied to Dylan Whitmore. Yes, the same ex she had confronted in New York. The connection was too strong to ignore. Evelyn gathered Marcus, Tasha, and the attorney. "She's been funded," she said. "This was never just about love. This was a setup." Marcus refused to believe it. "No," he said, pacing the room. "She confronted Dylan. She was furious at him. Why would she take his money?" But doubt crept in. That night, he confronted Jasmine again. She was on the balcony, sipping wine, staring into the city lights when he asked, "Did Dylan pay you to get close to me?" She turned slowly, eyes wide. "What? Answer me," he said. "Did you take money from Dylan's company?" Her voice cracked. I didn't know it was him." The money was for consulting. I helped him market some real estate investments. Lies, he shouted. You've been lying since day one. Jasmine dropped her glass. It shattered across the balcony. I loved you, Marcus. I still love you, but I needed stability. I needed something real. I didn't think it would get this far. It got far enough, he said, walking away. We're done. And just like that, Jasmine was once again out of his life. But not out of the spotlight. Because the next morning, another twist hit the press. Jasmine was pregnant. Or so she claimed. Fans went wild. Was it true? Was she using it to win Marcus back? Or was this the final card in a carefully orchestrated game? The internet erupted. Baby or bluff? Marcus went silent. Evelyn demanded a paternity test. Jasmine refused. You don't get to control this part of my life, she said during a surprise live stream that drew 3.7 million viewers. This baby is mine, and I'll protect it with or without Marcus. The Delon empire was in freefall. Stock dipped. Sponsors pulled out. Meanwhile, Jasmine quietly checked into a private prenatal retreat in the Maldives, away from cameras and chaos, alone, or so it seemed, because just as the world settled into a collective gasp, another photo leaked Jasmine on the beach, hand resting on her stomach, beside a shadowy figure who wasn't Marcus. Fans zoomed, cropped, enhanced, and the internet asked, who was the man with Jasmine now? The answer would make jaws drop across the globe. It wasn't long before that blurry beach photo ignited a media wildfire. Online sleuths, fans, and gossip pages dove into a frenzy of reverse image searches, facial recognition, speculation, and side-by-side comparisons. The shadowy man walking beside Jasmine in the Maldives wasn't just anyone. It was Zayn Navarro, a private wealth strategist known in elite circles, and more shockingly, a former advisor to Marcus Delon himself. Zayn had once been trusted with managing portions of the Delon family fortune, that is, until he was quietly dismissed 18 months ago after an irreconcilable conflict of interest with the family's financial vision. No official details were ever released. Until now. The revelations sent shockwaves. Was Jasmine not just a gold digger but part of a calculated takedown? Was she leveraging Marcus for access? Only to later ally with the man who had nearly toppled the Delon empire from the inside. The drama had officially crossed into the territory of corporate warfare and emotional sabotage. And fans couldn't stop watching. Tasha, who had gone quiet for a few days following Jasmine's pregnancy reveal, re-emerged on Instagram, with a cryptic post, a single black screen with the caption, "When snakes shed their skin, they're still snakes." It amassed over 2 million likes in hours. The message was clear. The Delon family was done playing nice. Meanwhile, Jasmine still refused to confirm whether the baby was Marcus's. She did, however, do an exclusive photo shoot for People magazine, barefoot, in a white dress, cradling her stomach with the headline, "I won't be silenced. Jasmine's fight for her baby and her truth." In the interview, she dropped a subtle but scathing line. "I've been accused of gold digging, betrayal, and now espionage, but you know what no one ever asked. Why would a woman risk everything unless she believed it was love?" Some fans applauded her resilience. Others saw it as a masterclass in manipulation, but the story was far from over. Back in Los Angeles, Marcus was spiraling. For weeks, he'd defended Jasmine. Now, between leaked bank records, rumors of Zayn, and the looming shadow of fatherhood, he was unsure of everything, including himself. He canceled his tour, missed meetings. Tabloids began running with headlines like "Marcus on the brink," and "Heartbroken, betrayed, and alone." Friends said he'd stopped returning calls. The once untouchable mogul was cracking, but just when it seemed like the scandal had peaked, an anonymous source came forward, a former assistant to Jasmine, with receipts. Literally, she provided screenshots of emails, voice notes, and even handwritten journals detailing Jasmine's alleged 5-phase relationship strategy. In one email dated nearly a year before the scandal broke, Jasmine wrote to a confidant, "Zayn says Marcus is the golden ticket. I can make him fall. All it takes is patience, timing, and the right narrative." The internet exploded. Millions of fans who once rallied behind Jasmine now recoiled in disgust. #CancelJasmine began trending. Major brands severed partnerships. The tell-all interview she'd once planned was pulled from syndication. Even her pregnancy was now being doubted. And at the center of it all, Jasmine stayed silent, until the day she showed up at the Delon estate, unannounced, uninvited, and very very pregnant. Security almost turned her away, but she demanded to speak to Marcus. When he came out, visibly gaunt and exhausted, she spoke only one sentence: "I took the test. It's yours." He didn't say a word. He just looked at her. Broken, betrayed, confused. "I didn't plan this part," she whispered, placing a trembling hand on her belly. "Whatever you believe about me, believe this baby was never part of the plan. But now, it's everything." He closed the door without a word. Inside, Marcus collapsed into a chair. Evelyn and Tasha watched from across the hall, neither saying what they were both thinking. Even after everything, Jasmine still had a hold on him, but that hold was slipping. Because 3 days later, Zane Navarro was arrested. The charges: corporate fraud, financial manipulation, and conspiracy to infiltrate the Delon Empire through coordinated relationship entrapment. In layman's terms, using romance as a weapon to dismantle wealth from within. And guess whose name appeared on several classified documents recovered from his cloud storage? Jasmine's. Though she hadn't been formally charged, the implication was damning. And yet, in a twist no one expected, Marcus bailed Zane out. The move stunned everyone. Paparazzi cornered Marcus outside the courthouse. "Why help the man who betrayed you?" one reporter asked. Marcus only said, "Because this story isn't over yet. And I need answers, not rumors." It was a move that shocked even Evelyn. But Marcus had a theory. One he couldn't prove yet, but one that haunted him. What if Jasmine wasn't the mastermind? What if she was just another pawn in Zane's bigger game? The only way to find out was to face her again. Marcus arranged a private meeting. No cameras. No lawyers. Just him, Jasmine, and their shared past. The conversation lasted for hours. No one knows exactly what was said, but Jasmine was seen leaving in tears, real ones this time. Not for the press, not for pity, just raw, broken sobs as she entered her SUV and disappeared again. Marcus said nothing afterward. But the next day, he released a statement. "I loved Jasmine. Maybe a part of me always will. But love, real love, isn't just about desire. It's about truth, loyalty, and intention. I've learned painful lessons. But I'm grateful for the truth, even when it hurts." The public took it as closure. Fans mourned. Some still held out hope. Others felt vindicated. But nothing compared to what came next. Because Jasmine, now in hiding, released a private diary entry to the press. It read simply, "They called me a gold digger, but they never asked what I was digging for. It wasn't diamonds, it was dignity. And in loving him, I lost it all." With that final twist, the world was left spinning. Was Jasmine the villain, the victim, or something else entirely? And just when it seemed the curtain had closed on this explosive saga, a birth certificate leaked. And the father's name? Still blank. Main body part for final -1,400 words. The leaked birth certificate sent the internet into meltdown. Jasmine had given birth quietly, away from flashing lights and tabloids, in a discreet private hospital in Santa Barbara. The name of the baby was revealed, a girl named Amara Rose Whitmore. But what stopped every heart and set the drama ablaze again was the absence of a father's name. The space, cold and empty, whispered a million questions. Had Marcus refused to claim his child? Was Zane the real father all along? Or had Jasmine once again taken control of the narrative by leaving the identity open-ended, as a final message to the world that some stories weren't meant to be decoded? Speculation swarmed like bees to honey. Fans split into factions, each creating timelines, paternity theories, and TikToks that dissected every photo, interview, and side glance. Team Marcus believed Jasmine was punishing him for abandoning her. Team Jasmine insisted she was protecting her daughter from a toxic empire. And then there was Team Zane, those who believed Jasmine and Zane had been planning this all along. The birth certificate added fuel to a fire that refused to burn out. And just when people thought they'd seen the most shocking twist, Jasmine dropped a 10-minute video diary titled, "The Man I Loved, the Baby I Chose." In the soft light of a beach house window, Jasmine sat holding baby Amara. Her eyes were swollen, her voice quieter than fans had ever heard. "I left the name blank," she began, "because Amara doesn't belong to a legacy, she belongs to love." She went on to say that no one, not Evelyn, not the internet, not the Delon fortune would own or label her daughter. "I gave Marcus every chance to step up, but he chose silence." She didn't mention Zane at all. Not once, which of course, made fans even more suspicious. Within 24 hours, The video had 45 million views. The comment section exploded. Some called her brave. Others called her calculating. But everyone was watching, including Marcus. At that very moment, Marcus sat in his recording studio, a place that once pulsed with chart-topping hits, now quiet except for one thing, a single heartbeat recording. Jasmine had secretly sent it to him weeks earlier, a sonogram with Amara's heartbeat. He had played it over and over, trying to feel something, rage, regret, resolution, but all he felt was emptiness. That was, until he made a decision no one expected. Marcus went on the late-night Real Show live. For the first time, he addressed everything. Did I love Jasmine? Yes. Did she lie to me? Yes. Was it all a game? I don't know anymore, but what I do know is, if Amara is my daughter, she deserves to know who I am. The host asked the question everyone was thinking. Will you take a paternity test? Marcus didn't hesitate. I already did. The results arrived tomorrow. That single sentence sent the world into chaos. TV anchors ran with it. Headlines screamed. Marcus takes the test, Jasmine's house of cards about to fall. Jasmine, who had retreated entirely from the media for the baby's sake, was blindsided. She wasn't ready. Her publicist begged her not to respond. But Jasmine never did silence well. She posted a single, cryptic message on her story, an ultrasound photo captioned, "You don't need DNA to love." Then came the day the results dropped. A private courier arrived at Marcus's estate at 9:07 a.m., holding an envelope that contained the one answer that had kept an entire nation awake at night. Marcus didn't open it on live TV. He didn't post it. Instead, he called Jasmine. It went straight to voicemail. So he texted her, "It's mine. I know now. I'm coming to see her." No emojis, no anger. Just 6 words that cracked Jasmine open. She paced the living room of her beachside hideaway, clutching baby Amara. Her mind flashed back to every betrayal. Every magazine cover. Every moment she had doubted whether Marcus ever really loved her or just the version of her she performed for the cameras. But now, he knew. Now, he was coming, and she had no idea what to expect. When Marcus arrived that evening, he didn't knock. The door was already open. He stepped in slowly, scanning the room until he saw her, barefoot, tired, and glowing, holding his daughter. Their eyes met. For a full 60 seconds, neither spoke. Then, Jasmine whispered, "She has your eyes." Marcus walked closer. Amara blinked up at him with wide, curious eyes. He reached out, gently touched her tiny hand. "She's perfect," he said. "She's ours," Jasmine corrected. They sat in silence. The storm of 1,000 headlines reduced to the quiet breathing of a newborn. Jasmine finally broke the silence. "I didn't plan this. The money, the legacy, the drama, maybe I lost myself in it all. But this her, she was never part of the plan. Maybe she's the only part that matters," Marcus replied. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. For once, not for a camera, not for a story, but for the truth. Marcus stayed the night, sleeping on the couch, waking up to help with a 3 a.m. feeding. The next morning, paparazzi were circling again, helicopters buzzing. But the Delon estate issued a statement before any photos could break the internet. "The Delon family recognizes Amara Rose as one of our own. Any further harassment of the mother or child will be pursued legally." Evelyn was furious. Tasha stopped speaking to Marcus entirely. The empire was shaken. But Marcus didn't care. He rented a second home near Jasmine's and began co-parenting. Not for headlines. Not for redemption, but because for the first time in a long time, something felt real again. Meanwhile, Zayn Navarro was sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. Jasmine was never charged. Investigators claimed there wasn't enough evidence to prove she was a co-conspirator, though many still believe she'd played the game better than anyone ever had. As for Jasmine, she quietly rebranded. No more red carpets. No more scandal interviews. She launched a wellness brand for single mothers called Amara Grace, using her platform to support women navigating fame, judgment, and motherhood. Her first product sold out in hours. Her image, though still polarizing, had evolved. Some still saw her as a gold digger. Others saw a survivor. But deep down, everyone agreed on one thing: Jasmine never just chased gold. She chased power. And somehow, through heartbreak, betrayal, and a baby born into chaos, she found it. And as for love, Well, that part is still being written. So, after months of jaw-dropping twists, explosive receipts, and emotional meltdowns that captivated an entire generation, the question still lingers in the air, like the final note of a tragic love song. Was it ever real? Did Jasmine truly love Marcus, or was he just her golden ladder to the life she always wanted? Was Amara Rose a happy accident, or the final card in a high-stakes playbook built on seduction, strategy, and survival? Fans remain divided. Some believe Jasmine is the ultimate con artist, a woman who turned heartbreak into a business, deception into opportunity, and scandal into a personal brand. Others see her as a misunderstood fighter, a woman shaped by a world that rewards beauty and punishes ambition, doing whatever it took to carve out a space for herself and her daughter. And somewhere in the middle stands Marcus, broken but rebuilding, a father now. No longer the prince in a castle, but a man who learned that even the deepest love can be tainted by secrets. But what do you believe? Was Jasmine a villain or a victim? Was Marcus a fool or just a man in love? And is baby Amara the start of a new chapter, or a ticking time bomb for future drama? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Were you Team Jasmine, Team Marcus, or just here for the tea? Hit that like button if you were shocked by the paternity twist. Subscribe if you live for messy celebrity sagas. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another episode of truth, betrayal, and beautiful disaster. Because in the world of fame, fortune, and filtered fairy tales, love isn't always what it seems. Until next time, stay dramatic, stay curious, and remember, behind every Instagram story, there's a story they don't want you to know.